Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy. However, what I will say here is that this is one of those discussions where if you don't mind spoilers, I would highly recommend staying around, because I think that when it comes to people wanting to see more from Konohamaru and genuinely wanting to see better for Konohamaru, this is a discussion that is going to have spoilers in it, but I'm going to try and stay away from massive spoilers. But I do think this is something that anime only fans could definitely benefit from. So I would say stick around if you don't really care about moderate level spoilers. So not huge spoilers, but moderate level spoilers. So now that we're in a point now to where we know for a fact, based on the Jump Festa comments of Ikimoto, the illustrator for the Boruto manga, that we are getting close to the time skip, I think that we need to have a conversation about how to actually redeem Konohamaru's character. I think that after almost 190 episodes in the anime, I think most of us agree Konohamaru's been pretty damn disappointing. I think that after 55 chapters in the Boruto manga as Team 7 sensei, and after roughly 25 to 26 chapters of the guy not being in the actual manga, I think it's safe to say most of us would agree Konohamaru has been pretty damn disappointing. And so I'd like to propose this right here. The time skip is a really good opportunity. We know nothing about where Konohamaru has been during all of this time. We know absolutely nothing. We don't know if the guy's been super depressed because Mujino died and he's just been MIA. After the fact, maybe he's in one of those mental health clinics that Sakura had developed during the aftermath of the 4th Great Ninja War, which I talk about in my video, The Legacy of Sakura. But the fact is that we could have a scenario to where Konohamaru's been away on one of those special missions that Naruto sends people like Konohamaru and Sasuke on, where they don't actually require a team to go with them. Maybe that's something that gets revealed there. Maybe Konohamaru's on another mission related to the car organization or related to some bigger threat outside of there that we had no information about. This is a shonen. Typically, there's a boogeyman behind the boogeyman. But I think that now that we're going into that time skip, this is a really, really good opportunity to do two things to Konohamaru. Number one, change his design post time skip. Now, if you've seen Konohamaru in the manga, I think a lot of people agree manga Konohamaru is absolute garbage in terms of design. When it comes to the same thing with the anime, the guy's so much of a joke. If you have the guy come back and the guy's got some scars on his face, or he's wearing a different type of ninja outfit, those could be things that would drive more interest back into the character. But I think most importantly is when we get from this time skip that is getting ready to happen, we need to actually see Konohamaru mix it up, and mix it up in a legitimate life or death battle. Nothing super short like the Konohamaru versus Jugo thing, which ultimately relies on you remembering how freakishly strong Jugo was in Naruto Shippuden when he was at the 5 Kage summon, just realizing that this is Jugo 15 years later, therefore Jugo by default is a lot stronger. But the fact is that Konohamaru during that time, yeah, we saw it, the guy uses Rasengan and he's getting chakra drained out of him and he's blowing Jugo across the forest. Really, really nice, but that fight was so freaking short, nobody could really savor it. It was just like, oh, Konohamaru has a few cutscenes. Oh, the fight's absolutely over. We haven't seen Konohamaru with a real fight that's going to be that character-defining moment. Now, given the members of the car organization that are currently left, which, in case there's an anime-only fan here, I'm not going to drop the names, but there are only a few members of car that are actually left. Maybe we could see Konohamaru go up against somebody like, say, Delta or one of the other members that are out there. That'll be a really good opportunity because we've already seen what Delta can actually do in a battle situation. So that'll be a good way to actually start scaling Konohamaru. Now, you guys know I don't really give a fuck about power scaling, but I will say that for the sensei of Team 7, that's a pretty important thing that we need to know here, because we can all jump to the conclusion that, like, oh, Konohamaru's been surpassed by his team, and yet at the same time, can we really say that when we've never actually seen the depths of Konohamaru's real power? We've seen it with the other members of Team 7, but it's not fair to actually say that when we've not seen it with Konohamaru. For a guy who started the series as being introduced at the end of chapter 2 as telling Naruto, I'm gonna accept your challenge to one day fight for the right to be Hokage, he's not shown anything of being Hokage material, at least not in the Boruto era. Now, in the second part of Naruto, we saw him take out one of the 6 paths of pain. That's his defining moment in part 2 of the story. But in part 3, the guy's been utter trash.
Know your fucking place, trash.
So I think that having the time skip, that's one of those cliche things to where a lot of series take those opportunities to give you new designs. Part of the reason is that it gives the merchandise an opportunity to make new stuff, and so you start driving merchandise sales. But also when it comes to characters, it's a very convenient shonen plot device to have a character who was previously fodder show up and all of a sudden be strong enough that he's knocking down buildings and etc. And so this would be a really good opportunity to actually see Konohamaru become more of a formidable fighter. When your biggest shining moment in the manga is the fact that you're able to use a Rinnegan and hold off Kakashi and Koji, which in hindsight, because we know how strong Kakashi and Koji is, strong enough that he's able to keep up with 10% of Jigen and 10% of Ishiki Osusuki. The fact is, and with the Ishiki part, that's really debatable. That's really debatable given how quickly he went down after the Ishiki transformation took place, but we at least know, like, okay, Kakashi and Koji is around this area. But when Konohamaru's biggest shining moment is that the Rasengan's clash and that he's able to break out using a ceiling jutsu and Konohamaru gets complimented, we also have to keep in mind that Konohamaru was about to be burned to death by those flames of purgatory if Boruto did not use his karma seal to actually save Konohamaru. And so it's one of those things where absolutely the guy is an absolute joke in the manga, and in order to actually save the character, he's gonna need something in the time skip, whether it be it gets revealed he was away on a special mission, whether it be a post time skip design and a post time skip power up that makes him very respectable, especially given the fact that the members of Team 7 are rapidly progressing. Sarada has a 3 Tomoe Sharingan, Mitsuki has Sage Mode, Kawaki, if he remains a member of Team 7, Kawaki is 80% Osusuki, and Boruto has the Jogan and he's 80% Osusuki as well. This is one of those times where it's just like, Konohamaru, your student has an Osusuki inside of him. You need to be strong enough to be able to keep things in check. Otherwise, you have to look at it as a scenario where Konohamaru might actually get replaced. And so I think that the time skip is probably the best way to fix Konohamaru. However, I want to know from you guys, can Konohamaru actually be saved? And do you think that Konohamaru is too far gone in terms of being redeemed? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.